In the Tablet of the World, Lawh-e Dunya, revealed shortly before his ascension, Baha'u'llah described the loftiness of the station of the hands of the cause of God. This film is about these God-intoxicated heroes and heroines of the Baha'i faith, each of whom was elevated to the rank of Hand of the Cause, either during their lifetimes or on their passing, by Baha'u'llah, Abdul Baha, or by Shoghi Effendi. Committed to the principles and teachings of Baha'u'llah, these valiant souls expended all their energies towards the advancement and protection of his cause, while maintaining a life free from fanaticism and dogma. They associated with people in friendship and harmony and pursued their careers. Yet their entire lives were energized by the single purpose of serving their Lord and diffusing his divine fragrances to everyone they encountered. This film is also about the hands as a body, an institution with accomplishments unprecedented in the annals of religious history. By the close of 1951, Shoghi Effendi had set in motion the initial stages for the establishment of the two mighty arms of the administrative order of the faith of Baha'u'llah. The first was the International Baha'i Council, appointed by him in January of that year, which would develop in due course into a duly elected Universal House of Justice. This was in fulfillment of the prophecies of Baha'u'llah revealed in the Tablet of Carmel, which foretell of the development of the World Center and its institutions. The other arm was the institution of the Hands of the Cause of God, which, in accordance with the will and testament of Abdul Baha, the divine charter for the development of the institutions of the faith, was reserved for the guardian to appoint. The time had now come for the appointment of individuals to fulfill the sacred functions of the propagation and preservation of the unity of the faith of Baha'u'llah. The first contingent was announced to the Baha'i world on the 24th of December 1951 and included William Sutherland Maxwell, Mason Remy and Amelia Collins from the Holy Land, Valiullah Varga, Tarazullah Samandari and Ali Akbar Furutan from Persia, the cradle of the faith, Horace Holly, Dorothy Baker and Leroy Iowis from the American continent, and George Townsend, Hermann Grossman and Ugo Giaccheri from the European continent.
The second contingent of hands was announced by the beloved guardian to the Baha'i world only some 2 months later, on the 29th of February 1952, via this cablegram, which brought the total number of hands to 19. Siegfried Schopflocker from Canada, Corinne True from the United States, Zekrullah Khadem and Shoaullah Alai from Persia, Adalbert Muschlegel from Germany, Musa Banani from Africa, and Clara Dunn from Australia. After the appointment of the second contingent of hands in 1952, individual appointments were made by Shoghi Effendi as existing hands passed away, in order to maintain 19 living hands at all times. Thus, after the passing of Sutherland Maxwell, his daughter Amatul Baha Ruhiya Khanum was appointed. On the passing of Siegfried Schopflocher from Canada, Jalal Khazeh of Persia was appointed. On the passing of Dorothy Baker, Paul Haney from the United States was appointed. On the passing of Waliullah Varga, his eldest son, Ali Mohammed Varga, was appointed. And on the passing of George Townsend, Agnes Alexander from Japan was appointed.
The last contingent of living hands, comprising 8 individuals, was announced just a month before the passing of Shoghi Effendi, bringing the total number of living hands to a figure of 3 times 9, 27. From this moment, the hands were entitled Chief Stewards of Baha'u'llah's embryonic world commonwealth. The full list of hands now included Enoch Olinga, William Sears, and John Robarts from Africa, Hassan Balyuzi and John Ferraby from the British Isles, Collis Featherstone and Rahmatullah Muhajir from the Pacific area, and Abul Qasim Faizi from the Arabian Peninsula. In this part, we focus on the activities of the hands as an institution, following the appointment of the first 2 contingents. At the bidding of Shoghi Effendi, the hands began attending the 4 intercontinental conferences in Africa, America, Europe and Asia, associated with the observance of the Holy Year in 1953, and the launch of the Guardian's 10-year globe-encircling crusade. This was a time of joy and jubilation, as Baha'is from around the world gathered at the intercontinental conferences in Kampala, Chicago, Stockholm and New Delhi, to celebrate these twin events and focus on the teaching work ahead.
Many of the hands of the cause can be identified in films from those historic gatherings, making reference to the goals of the 10-year crusade. In Kampala, the hands were individually acknowledged. They include Hand of the Cause Tarazullah Samandari, Dorothy Baker, Musa Banani, Waliullah Varga, Shoallah Alai, Ali Akbar Furutan, Leroy Iowas, and Zikrullah Khadem. Hands attending the Intercontinental Conference of Chicago can be seen against the background of the map of the 10-year Global Crusade. Hands gathered at the 3rd of the Intercontinental Conferences held in Stockholm are seen here, followed by the banquet, attended by all the friends. And last but not least, the memorable conference held in Delhi was attended by many friends and hands of the cause of God. On that occasion, a delegation of hands and Baha'i friends had a meeting with the Vice President of India.
The Guardian directed the hands, effective from Rizwan 1954, to appoint auxiliary boards for each continent, totaling 36 individuals altogether, to serve as their deputies, assistants and advisors. To support the activities, 5 continental Baha'i funds were inaugurated by the Guardian, with the appointment of 5 trustees charged with the handling of the funds. These funds supplemented the already established Baha'i International Fund, which grew out of the rise and consolidation of the World Administrative Center in the Holy Land. Thus, the Baha'i world witnessed not only the elevation of outstanding individual believers as hands, but also the emergence of a mighty institution, which was to grow and display unparalleled potentialities throughout the period of the ministry of Shoghi Effendi and well beyond. Each and every one attained the sublime rank of servitude because of unique qualities and special contributions, which will be the subject of study by future historians. In this production, it's only possible to provide a glimpse of these heroes and heroines of the formative age of the Baha'i faith, and to provide an overview of their accomplishments as an institution. The unique role and significant contributions of the institution of Hands of the Cause of God was to become fully manifest after the passing of their beloved leader, Shoghi Effendi.
On the 4th of November 1957, Shoghi Effendi, the beloved guardian of the Baha'i faith, passed away in London. The Baha'i world lost its exalted and peerless leader. It was Amatul Baha Ruhiya Khanum who announced the news of his passing to the Baha'is.
Shoghi Effendi, beloved of all hearts, sacred trust given believers by Master, passed away, sudden heart attack in sleep, following Asiatic flu. Urge believers remain steadfast, cling institution hands, lovingly raised, recently reinforced by beloved guardian. Only oneness heart, oneness purpose can befittingly testify loyalty, all National Assembly's believers, departed guardian who sacrificed self utterly for beloved faith.
18 Hands of the Cause gathered in London on a rainy and gloomy day to attend the funeral of their beloved guardian at the Great Northern London Cemetery. With them were a multitude of other devoted Baha'i friends who had come from far and wide to pay their humble tribute to the one who was the object of their devotion, and yet who modestly remained their true brother, as Shoghi Effendi referred to himself. Despite their shock and grief, the Hands who had gathered in London agreed that an urgent plenary meeting of their institution should be held at the World Centre in the Holy Land. This historic meeting took place on the 18th of November on Ruhiya Khanum's invitation.
And what Amatul Baha Ruhiya Khanum did is historic. It is historical. It's miraculous to me. Because how it came to Amatul Baha's mind to call all hands to go to the Holy Land and keep unity of Baha'i communities all over.
Its first action was to have a delegation of 9 of the Hands open the apartment of Shoghi Effendi, which had been sealed immediately after his passing, and make an exhaustive search for any document such as a will that he might have left.
The day after our arriving in the Holy Land, at 8 o'clock in the morning, Lord IOS, Hand of the Cause, Mr. IOS, came to our place in the Pilgrim House and asked me to attend the Master's house to the invitation of Amatul Baha Ruhiya Khanum. She invited me to go there and join 8 hands of the cause there to go in the apartment of beloved guardian to search about his will and testament. And when I arrived there, few were there, and we attended 3 minutes, and after that we went up in the apartment of beloved guardian. And Amrullah delivered the keys of the safe and everything, and asked that you are free to go everywhere and investigate if you can find a will and testament. And I remember maybe 2 or 3 hours we were investigating about that. And the other hands were waiting in Bahti, what will be the result of our research. And we looked everywhere. We didn't find anything.
26 of the 27 living hands then attended a historic gathering in the upper hall of the mansion of Baha'u'llah in Bahchi, which was to be the first of the 6 annual conclaves that would take place before the election of the Universal House of Justice in 1963. This photo is the only record of that first conclave.
And when Ahmad Baha had this courage to take the first step to invite the hands to come here, and she administrated the first conclave and shared her experience with the other hands and gave the guiding to them, because everybody was like me. Everybody received the shock. Everybody was electrified by this happening, and nobody knows what to do. 27 people from different backgrounds, different levels of knowledge, different religious backgrounds, met each other for the first time. Different languages. They have no communication between them. It was through the translators. The hands of the cause, Mr. Barduzi and Mr. Faizi, contributed to translation.
But I remember, of course, I was so dazed with the sudden passing of Shoghi Effendi because nobody expected him to die, and it was a terrible shock. And it was only the strong structure of how firmly he had built the foundations of the Baha'i faith that saved the Baha'i world.